For over 75 years, one country's passport has had this really stark message on it, valid for every country in the world except Israel. Now, this is way more than just a travel ban. It's actually a key that unlocks this incredibly complex story of ideology, of rivalry, and, frankly, political survival. So let's dig in and uncover the real reason why Pakistan still refuses to recognize Israel.
So it all starts with this one official document. If you open up a standard Pakistani passport, you'll find this line written right inside. This passport is valid for all countries of the world except Israel. I mean, it's not some fine print. It's right there, plain as day. And this isn't just a quirky travel rule. It's a huge symbol of a foreign policy that is deeply, deeply entrenched. So what's really the deal here?
All right, to really get this, we have to go back, way back. The reasons for this 75-year-old policy aren't in today's headlines. Nope. The roots are buried in the very foundations of both nations, which, believe it or not, were born just months apart.
And the timing here is absolutely critical. It's kind of wild, actually. Pakistan and Israel both emerged from the ashes of post-colonial partitions at almost the exact same time, 1947 and 1948. But, and this is the key part, while they started on these parallel tracks, the national identities they chose put them on an immediate collision course.
You see, right from the get-go, Pakistan defined its mission as being a champion for Muslims all over the globe. So supporting the Palestinian cause wasn't just, another foreign policy decision. It became a core part of its national identity, a way to claim leadership in the wider Muslim world.
And that leads us to the fundamental objection that shaped everything for decades. The dominant view inside Pakistan is that Israel's very existence is based on what they see as the illegitimate occupation of Palestinian land. So for them, it's not a simple political disagreement. It's viewed as a historic injustice that they just can't endorse. But here's the thing. This isn't just about high-minded principles. That ideological stance very quickly hardened into a cold, hard, strategic calculation. And that's largely because of another incredibly volatile conflict, one that's much, much closer to home. And this right here reveals the central strategic problem for Pakistani diplomats. They consistently draw a direct line between the situation in Palestine and the long, bitter dispute over Kashmir. To the rest of the world, they present a consistent narrative. Hey, look, both of these are stories about disputed land and illegal occupation.
So you see the strategic trap they're in, right? If Pakistan were to suddenly recognize Israel, how could its diplomats then turn around and argue that India's control over Kashmir is illegitimate? From Islamabad's point of view, accepting one would completely torpedo their argument on the other. The two issues are just totally tied together.
So we've moved from a diplomatic problem to what is now a very real security problem. In just the last few decades, as alliances in the region have shifted, the stakes have gotten much, much higher for Pakistan. And you just can't talk about this issue without bringing in the elephant in the room, Pakistan's arch-rival, India. The growing strategic partnership between India and Israel has completely upended Pakistan's security calculations. And look, we're not just talking about friendly handshakes here. This is a deep, military and intelligence alliance. Israel is now one of India's biggest arms suppliers, selling them seriously cutting-edge stuff. We're talking everything from advanced surveillance drones to missile defense systems. So for Pakistan's military, Israel is no longer some distant ideological issue. It's the nation that is actively arming its #1 adversary. Now, you might be thinking this is all pretty black and white, but the reality? Oh, it's way more complicated. There's a huge difference between what happens behind closed doors and what's said out in public.
Believe it or not, despite the very loud public stance, there have been quiet attempts at dialogue. The most well-known example was a high-level meeting in Istanbul way back in 2005. And there are plenty of whispers that other secret back-channel talks have happened over the years, often with the US trying to play mediator.
So wait a minute. If they've been talking behind the scenes, why does the official policy seem totally frozen in time? Well, the answer isn't in some foreign capital. It's on the streets of Pakistan itself.
Here's the bottom line. For any government in Pakistan, officially recognizing Israel is seen as pure political suicide. It's a career ender. Public opinion is overwhelmingly against it, and that sentiment is constantly fueled by powerful religious parties and this deep-seated feeling of solidarity with Palestinians. Any move toward normalization would almost guarantee massive, destabilizing protests. It's a domestic red line nobody dares to cross.
Okay, so let's pull all these pieces together. After looking at all of this, what's the final verdict? Is this whole policy really driven by pure principle, or is it all just a game of cold, hard strategic calculation?
The real answer? It's impossible to separate the two.
It's not one or the other, it's both. Think of it like a deeply woven fabric. It all starts with that ideological thread of pan-Islamic solidarity. But it's held tightly in place by these powerful strategic pillars, the Kashmir parallel, the security threat from the India-Israel alliance, and the absolute reality of domestic politics.
And all of that brings us to the one big, flashing question mark for the future. I mean, the Middle East is changing, and it's changing fast. Some Arab nations are now normalizing ties with Israel, and the old consensus is breaking down. So the question that remains is, could all these pressures from the outside, or maybe a big shift on the inside, finally force Pakistan to rethink a policy that has defined it since the day it was born? That is the real unknown.